The Jarrett Markel Creativity Boot Camp is presented by Orange County Arts Council in partnership with the Newburgh City Enlarged School District and the Newburgh Armory Unity Center. This program is made possible through the Jarrett Markel Fund and from donations from people like you. Today's teacher will be Agrisculpture Amy, and we will make recycled bird feeders. Live interactive classes are offered online for free for youth ages 5 through 16. Register at www.ocartscouncil.org to sign up for one of these classes.
I'll do a recap because I know a few people just joined our class, so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We just started, so we take a recycled plastic container. We're going to transform it into a fabulous bird feeder, and there's a couple simple concepts. We're going to make a hole on one side and then the opposite. So making a hole, we're going to also have a place for a perch. It could be a pencil, a stick, a chopstick, a marker that doesn't work anymore. So this is where the birds are going to land, so then they can reach in and eat. And then we're going to attach either string or ribbon or twine to hang it. So holes, perching, hanging, and then of course the most fun is decorating. So all of our friends who just joined us, you can totally get caught up, no problem. What we simply did was take off any of the labels that were on there. If you want to leave the label on, you can, that's fine. I like to take mine off. And with the help of your parent or guardian, we took a scissors, you could use a screwdriver or a leather tool like our friends did over there, something sharp, and again, with your parent. And we put, I'll just move the camera down, we always want to put our container flat on a hard table surface, and then we simply used our scissors. I actually had to open my scissor to get it a little bit more sharp, and made a hole that way, and the same thing here. So that's what all of our friends have done in class so far. So welcome to everyone who joined us, and now we're going to expand the holes. So essentially, I want to make my hole, and I could draw it for you here. I'll show you with a marker, a little paint marker, so you can see what I mean. Essentially, I want to start with the central hole that I made, but I want to cut out this entire rectangle, and I'm going to do it on both sides because that is how you're going to get your opening, and that's where the bird is going to eat. You put your seed in there, or your breadcrumbs or your cracker crumbs, and that's how the bird is going to get the food. So you can take a marker or pen or pencil and plan out your hole. And I'm going to plan mine out on the other side too. And again, make sure you have space on the bottom. Don't go all the way down, because that is exactly where you're going to put your food. So you need a spot for the food to stay. So give yourself an inch or two at the bottom. So now you can expand your holes.
I can't put my stuff in there.
You can't put your stuff in there?
I can't put this popsicle stick in there.
You can't. Oh, that's okay. That's okay, because we are going to make it bigger first, and then there'll be a spot for your popsicle stick. That's okay. Whatever pencil or anything you've stuck in your hole, take it out for now and start to cut. And as we cut, there we go, I'm going to tell you. So you can start from the middle, and you can cut in any direction. Sometimes I like to cut up to this corner, up to that corner, and I make myself a triangle, and it makes it a little bit easier to cut things. So it's okay, you won't be able to cut out the entire rectangle all at once. You can do it piece by piece. So you start with that hole that you made with the scissors, and you can get your scissors in. And see, I just started with a triangle piece by piece. Eventually, we will get this open. Have our nice opening. So when we were in class on Monday, for those of us who were in class, you remember that I had a very special visitor to my backyard garden here during our class. We had a female wild turkey come and land. Turkeys fly, even though you might not think they do, they're gigantic. Landed right in the middle of my garden. And it was making little cooing noises. They kind of, it's sort of like a gobble gobble, kind of. It's almost like a, they kind of make a trilling noise, almost like a gobble, but it's a little different. And so that was what made me look over into the garden. And that was also what made my dog, Harvey, look into the garden. So Harvey actually chased away our mama turkey. But we had a really incredible visitor during our last class. So we will see who comes today. Because at the end, after this bird feeder is complete, I'm going to hang it up for you here in our bird cafe, which is where I call my sycamore tree, where I have all of my bird feeders. We're going to hang our bird feeder in the bird cafe and see if anyone comes.
I can't cut the rectangle.
You can't cut it through? Let's see.
I don't know how to just go in it.
Let's see. If you have your hole and you stick one of your scissor lengths, does that help anyone? And then simply once part of it's in, cut a little bit, and then cut a little bit more, and use that to just make little slits. You can just go in with one scissor, make a slit. How's everyone doing? And you can use that to pull these up and start to take out pieces of your plastic. And don't worry that you don't make a perfect shape. What we're going for is a nice shape, and it's okay if it has a little bit of a jagged edge, because we're going to cover that with our tape. We're not going to have any sharp edges at the end, but it's okay if you have a little bit in the middle. How's everyone doing? All right, I am just about done with my holes here. Does anyone hear the blue jay? I don't know if you can hear it, but the blue jay is out, and the blue jay is very excited about the new bird feeder coming to the bird cafe. I'm just about done with my holes. Hopefully everyone is just about done here too. And voila, I got the last piece out. So some of you will have 2 holes in your container. Some of you will just have 1, and that's totally fine. It depends on how your container looks. So how is everyone doing here? Everyone doing good? All right, if you have, some of you already have your perches in your bird feeder, but for those who don't, I'm going to show you an easy trick so you don't have to make another hole. We're going to cut a little triangle right in the middle, but again, not too far down, because we want to have a spot for the bird seed to go. I cut a little triangle here, and that is going to have our perch is going to rest in there. So if you see that, it's great if you already have your perch. That's fabulous. And if not, you can go down in here and cut yourself a triangle. Okay. So once everyone has their triangles cut at the bottom, that is when your perch can go in and rest so easily. So now we are at the fun part. You can start to decorate, and I would recommend that you can use anything that you want, but the colored tape is your friend in the sense that if you take your colored tape, and sometimes I just like to use half of it. I don't like to use all of it. I like a thin strip. You can do any size that you want. I'm going to secure the perch just to make sure it doesn't move anywhere. So I'm going to put it right here on the top. So half of it is going to fold into your hole, and the other half is going to fold on the front. So we start like that. So we're securing the perch. We're going to make sure the pencil or your dowel or your marker doesn't move. And then you can make a little slit here with a tape and a little slit here with a tape so that you're able to fold the tape over. See that? And this way, your pencil, it can move on this side, on the other side, but it can't move here. So we've made it secure. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side, just so your perch doesn't go anywhere. Some of you have a hole that you've put the perch through. That's great. It probably won't go anywhere, but it never hurts to secure it with a little extra tape. So if you have electrical tape or duct tape or anything, that is a waterproof tape you want to put on there. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay. And again, you can make a little slit there and a little slit here to make it easier to fold the middle of the tape down. So you have taped your perch. And now, if you try and move it or wiggle it or take it out, it's not going to go anywhere. So you have the structure so far of your bird feeder. And you can start to decorate it now if you like. You can draw birds on it. I would love to see all of the designs as we're going. But one more thing we're going to do now, so everyone can design to their heart's content, we are going to put the string on the top together now. So everyone will have a way to hang your bird feeder. So take out your twine or your ribbon, whatever you happen to be using. It can be any color that you like. Let's see.
Don't we need to like secure it so it doesn't, like, the birds don't get hurt from the plastic?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But we can go back to that part. I just want to make sure everyone has a good idea as to how to hang it up first. Now you take your ribbon or your twine and cut it into 3 equal parts. And it could be long or short, depending on where you're going to hang up your bird feeder. If you have a tall branch, maybe you want it to be longer, and a short branch, maybe you want it to be shorter. So again, I'll hold this up here just to make sure everyone sees that we've got our holes and we have our perch. And the perch has been secure. And we are going to go back to lining our holes with the tape so there's no sharp edges. We're going to go back to that in a sec. But right now, we're just making sure everything functions the right way. We have the holes, the perch, and we're going to cut 3 equal parts of our ribbon or twine or string or anything that we have. 3 equal parts. I'm using gold ribbon just for fun. I had it left over from a gift. So here we go. I have my 3 pieces to hang up the bird feeder. And it's very simple what we're going to do now. Okay. You're going to simply make a knot with one end. I'm going to tie it around here. I'm going to tie it close up, maybe even under the cap. I got mine under the cap here. You can have it over the cap, anywhere you want, but somewhere at the top of your bird feeder. And I'm going to make a knot here. Do a double knot so it stays. Okay. So we have our first connection point. Now, you don't want to hang it like this with just one because it'll be lopsided. So we'll take our second one, and don't worry, we can trim off the edges at the end. We'll take our second string or ribbon or twine and do the same thing. And ideally, you'll have them all in 3 different spots. And if you put them on, you can just shift them around. We can simply move them around to get them in position, and then we will tape them. So we're going to make our second string or twine or ribbon, make our second knot here up at the top. If you don't have a cap, that's totally fine, just anywhere at the top. Some of you might have a handle on your plastic container, like the milk jugs. You can think about hanging it from the handle, but it might be lopsided. So if you don't have a cap, go closest to the top, and don't worry, we will tape it to secure it at the end, so it's not going to go anywhere. So I have my second. We're almost there. We're going to have one more. We're going to tie our third string at the top, and we will make sure that everyone gets theirs secure. And then the real fun parts start. This is a lot of the structural part, how it functions. Thank you. That's perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great day. That's the fun of working on your front porch. You see all the delivery and all the packages coming in when they first get here. All right, so here we go. We have our 3 strings or ribbons or twines, whatever you have. And you see, you could take them up, and what we're going to do is tie a knot at the top. We're going to tie them together. So make sure you have them evenly spaced as much as you can. You don't want 2 right next to each other. You want all 3 of them so that your bird feeder can hang relatively flat. All right. I'm going to make myself a knot up here. And it's okay if you have extra string left over, because we'll just trim it at the end. Okay. And I'm going to tie it close up to the top, so I have a decently long amount of string to work with, or ribbon or twine. So we have our knot up at the top, and what you should have is a way to hold on to your bird feeder. Now, this is the entire structural part, or how it works in terms of the form of your bird feeder. Now, does everyone have the holes and the perch and your hanging? Let's see. Let's see how everyone's doing over there.
I'm gonna make the perch now.
Now you can do all kinds of things to decorate. I'm going to actually trim my string up here at the top to make it look neater.
And cut the leftover pieces.
Trim the leftover pieces. If you don't want to see the scraps, you can see them if you want, but I like to have mine looking pretty tidy. So now you don't see any of the strings hanging out. And what I'm going to do to make sure this is extra secure, I'm going to put some of my tape right around this so it doesn't go anywhere. And also, I think it looks very cool. I love the designs of some of the tapes that are out there, different colors. All right. So we will put the tape on the cap to cover up the string, and also just for fun decoration. It also covers up that label that I couldn't quite get off, so that's nice. If you can't get off a label, you can always cover it up, no problem. Okay, and I have a little bit that's missing, so I'm just going to use a scrap piece of tape, because I love to have tape all the way around. And you've secured your string or your ribbon, and you've also made it look really cool. So we're gonna take the last one here. Okay. And put it on there. And now while you are decorating, I want to tell you a neat story about birds. Something that I didn't know about birds up until recently was about the way that they breathe. Now, I know you're decorating and you're working on your bird feeders, but take a deep breath with me. Take a deep breath in. You could feel the air in your lungs, and you can feel your diaphragm or your rib cage. That gets smaller. The more your lungs are filled up with air. So when you use your muscles to breathe in and your lungs fill up, that's how we breathe. We use our muscles to bring in the air. Now, a really cool thing about birds is that they have the opposite system. Whenever they use their muscles, it actually draws the air out. So their natural state is having their body and their lungs filled with air. Their bones are actually hollow and they're filled with air. So that is part of why birds are so great at flying, because they're very buoyant and they have a lot of air in their bodies and they're very light. So the next time you see a bird flying around, you can picture that they have, as a natural state, so much air in their lungs, where we have to breathe in, and that's how we get our air. So that's a really cool thing about birds, actually. So as we're decorating, you can line the sides. I'm going to start to line the sides because this is a little bit sharp. It's not super sharp, but we're going to line the sides of these so when you refill your bird feeder or when the birds come to visit, there's no sharp edges. You can keep going on these. I'm still working on mine. In just a few moments, I am going to actually fill the finished one with some bird seed, and then I'm going to turn our camera over to the bird cafe so you can see what happens. Maybe we'll have a visitor, you never know. Right now I have some starlings, I have a nuthatch, I have a sparrow, and let's see, that's it for now. But you never know who's gonna come. All right, so it doesn't matter where you live, there are birds everywhere, and that is such a wonderful thing about birds. If you're in a city, if you're in the country, if you're in the farm, if it's nighttime, daytime, if you're by the water, there's all different kinds of birds. And so once you get into hanging out your bird feeder and you start to watch your birds and see who comes, you'll begin to notice that just like people, certain birds have certain tastes. Some birds like to eat bird seed like sunflower seeds. Some other birds prefer little smaller seeds like millet. Other birds like woodpeckers like to have a high fat content, so they love suet. It's almost like the French fry for birds, but not quite. But you'll begin to notice that certain birds will come to your feeder. And a way to increase the amount of birds that come, or to get a different variety, is to change your bird seed. So if you have a certain type and you want another one, maybe add it in, or one day you can put in this kind, one day another kind. But birds are fabulous. They're very smart. I'll tell you another funny story. Not funny, but kind of incredible. Who has ever seen a hummingbird? Raise their hand. Anyone? Yeah? A lot of people out there have seen a hummingbird. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I'm sitting here on my porch, and right in front of me, a female hummingbird comes up. And you know the hummingbird is one of the tiniest birds. It almost looks like a bug sometimes if you don't see it clearly. A hummingbird comes right up to the porch, and it's about 5 feet away from me, and it's hovering, and it looks at me. And I'm kind of amazed because I had not seen any hummingbirds at all this year so far when this had happened. So the hummingbird comes and it's hovering and it's looking at me. Then it goes to my bird feed seeder, the first one, that happens to be red. It goes to the second one that happens to be red, looks around. Nope, nope, not my kind of food here. Then it comes right back up to the porch, about 5 feet away from me, and it hovers and it looks at me. And I thought I heard it say, "Hey, where's my bird feeder?" Because hummingbirds actually have a very specific kind of bird food that they like. Does anyone know what the hummingbird eats? Anyone?
Honey.
Hummingbirds love nectar. So this type of bird feeder that we made is not exactly the type that a hummingbird would go to. They go to a specific kind and you put liquid nectar in. You can make it yourself with water and sugar, but it's a pretty simple nectar. Of course, we can't make exactly like the flowers make, but that's pretty close. So I said to myself, okay, hummingbird, I hear you. So the very next day, I got myself a hummingbird feeder because they're a little bit difficult to make. So I filled it with the nectar, and within 20 minutes, I had a female ruby-throated hummingbird come to my bird feeder. And she has come to drink from that bird feeder every single day since then. That was a couple of weeks ago. So I've learned that the female hummingbird, the male apparently too actually, both the male and the female, can recognize the face of the humans that feed them. So I'm not sure how this works with other birds, but I know for a fact that a hummingbird can recognize who feeds them. So anytime you go out and you fill your bird feeder, look at the birds, because they're probably looking at you. They're probably saying to themselves, wow, what a nice person we have coming to give us some nice treats. And they'll remember you. It's really neat. So as you keep decorating, I'm going to show you real quick. I have some birdseed here. It's a mix. There's corn, there's millet, there's sunflower seeds in here. You can get this at any hardware store, probably the grocery store. It's not very expensive. I think if I got it on sale, a 20-pound bag is somewhere around $5 or $6, so it's not bad. But again, anything will do. If you have breadcrumbs or stale bread or cracker crumbs, something like that, you can certainly put that into your bird feeder. If you want to make a hummingbird feeder yourself, you can try using something like a soda bottle or a flower pot. That could be a subject for another day. Maybe we'll do another class making our hummingbird feeders. But for now, I'm just going to put my bird seed into the bird feeder. It's going to cover up the perch. I can still see my perch, but that's okay actually. And look at that. Now I have bird seed inside our bird feeder, which is great. You don't need a lot. You can just put in a little. You want to make sure though that the bird can get to it. So when the bird is on the perch, you want to make sure that either there's enough seed that the bird can reach in, because the birds are pretty small, so just think about, your fingers. If your finger is about the right size to be next to your perch and then kind of reach in, then you're in the right spot and you have enough seed. So I'm going to very slowly turn the camera over here, and you can watch while I hang up the bird feeder. And after I do that, I'm going to stand over there, and I would have our friend Sarah show me all of your bird feeders so we can all see what everyone's done. And at the end, my friends, and I love seeing everything that you've done in class, but if you want at the end, we would love to see your installed bird feeder. So when you're done and you've done all of your decorating and you've put in the bird seed or the cracker crumbs or the breadcrumbs, hang it up outside. It could be on a tree, it could be on a post, it could be off your porch or your window from your apartment, anything. After you've hung it up, take a picture for us and send it to the Arts Council. You can put it on your social media and tag the Arts Council on Instagram, Orange County, New York Arts Council. You can also email it to us, but it's easier and more fun for you if you put it on your social media account and then tag us and share it. And we would love to see it and share it as well. So in just a second, I'm going to check back in with you and see what everyone is doing. But right now, you will see the Bird Cafe, and you'll see me go. I'll be with you in just a sec. You're going to see all the bird feeders. Here's my signatures. Okay. Just gonna make sure that you'll be able to see everything. Okay. I'll be right there. We're gonna hang up our bird feeder. I can see you. Can everyone see me? Here we go. Let's see. I might need to change the camera angle just a little bit. Move me over just a little so we see everything. Okay. And there we go. I'll be right with you. Okay, my friends. Now you have seen my bird cafe and you have seen the hanging of the bird feeder. Let's see how you're doing over there. Let's see your bird feeders. Did we get everyone? Did everyone show? If you didn't show, just raise your hand, but I think we probably got everyone. All right, my friends. Yeah, oh yeah? What's that?
I'm going to make a bird cafe too, but it's going to be different. It's going to be bird buffets in various different areas. You want to know the types?
Yes, tell me. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Downtown Bird City and Birdville.
Downtown Bird City and Birdville. And the bird buffet. See what we've started here? We are gonna have a whole new world of different places and types of eateries for birds at the end of this class. I am so impressed. I'm so impressed with all of you.
Something.
What's that?
I just thought of something. I
What
have
did you-
fruit on my bird feeder, and I have squirrels in my backyard. They're gonna take his food.
You might have squirrels visiting your bird feeder. That is something that happens a lot. But you know, squirrels are really cool too. And squirrels are just as amazing as birds. And I've learned something over the years. If you take the bird seed, you put some into your bird feeder, but you also put some on the ground for the squirrels, then they're happy. The squirrels and the chipmunks, they'll have their bird seed to eat, because it is kind of funny. They eat bird seed, but seeds are seeds. So the squirrels and the chipmunks can come and eat on the ground. So if you just share with them and put a little on the ground underneath the bird feeder, the squirrels might leave your bird feeder alone, which would be really cool. Because essentially,
I was
yeah?
thinking that maybe sometimes I could change to nuts, because there's blue jays and blue jays like nuts, and then there's squirrels. So that and we also have like a tractor coin thing where you can do it so the squirrels stay away from the bird feeder.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you can definitely use nuts. I've seen people use peanuts and the ones that have the shells on them. So you can crush them a little bit and put them out. Both the birds and the squirrels seem to love peanuts with shells. That's a great idea. And don't forget, you can make as many bird feeders out of as many recycled containers as you want. We've gotten so many ideas today through the class, from pencils to chopsticks to drumsticks. We've had people tie the tops. We've had our friends put the ribbons and put the caps on. There's so many different ways. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for sharing your creativity with us and with your classmates. And be creative. Keep making them. You can have your very own bird cafe or buffet or bird city or bird town. I want to see all of them. Keep making, keep creating, and thank you so much. You guys are all amazing. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, my friends. That's just so cool. That makes me feel so good that we have been able to design a program that attracts everyone. And I mean everyone. Like, that's the goal. That's awesome.